Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're going on a wheated journey of flavor. That's right, tonight we review Larceny Barrel Proof A122. So you might ask, why now? Isn't it May? Shouldn't the B batch of Larceny be out soon? Well, here in the great state of PA, the A batch is a more recent phenomenon and the B batch is nowhere to be seen. So, wanted to get this review done for all the other fellow Pennsylvanians that are behind the curve and want to know how A122 is, as well as other states that may be on the A batch currently, and you want to know if it's good or not. So before we dive into it tonight, I have to admit I haven't always been the biggest fan of Larceny. When I started out my bourbon journey, I tried the Larceny small batch and just didn't like it. Pretty much hated it. And so did my buddies. So I thought, before we dive into A122 tonight, I might revisit the original Larceny small batch. So there it is. Good old Larceny small batch, coming in at a whopping 92 proof. Wheated bourbon, made by Old Heaven Hill, Old Fitzgerald, really. Now, on the back, it'll be up on the screen, there's a little bit of story. And the only reason I'm going to point this out is because the story's different on the barrel proof. So, what's the true version? It says, Johnny Fitzgerald's weakness was fine bourbon. Don't know if this was it. As a treasury agent, who at the time was the only person legally allowed to carry keys to the rickhouses, he gave in to temptation, freely taking from the best barrels in each rickhouse. Those that contain wheated bourbon, bourbon made with wheat instead of traditional rye, these eventually became known around the distillery as Fitzgerald barrels. Now, Larceny Bourbon honors both the superb taste of this lawless treasury agent and the legacy of the Old Fitzgerald brand. So, there you go. And did not like it originally, so that bottle is 2 years old, believe it or not, and that's how much is out of it, not a lot. I'm going to try it for the first time on camera tonight and see if I like it. It's right here in this glass. We're going to swirl it, give it a quick nosing. Don't smell bad. It smells sweet, some caramel, a little bit of baking spices. I do get like a faint hay note though, which I'm really not a fan of that hay note. Let's take a sip. It's not good. It's thin, it's watery. The sweetness and the good, like, a little bit of oak and brown sugar and those kind of flavors, like, disappear like that, and you're left with just like a watery, like, hay taste. Would not buy another bottle of the regular Larceny. Now, what we all came for here tonight is the Larceny Barrel Proof A122. There it is. Different label, the darker blacked out, murdered out label. Makes it look a lot better. Here on the front we have the words Barrel Proof, so you know it's not the common Larceny swill. And we get batch A122, which is obviously the first batch. Supposed to come out in January of 2022, but here it's May and I just got this. Proof 124.4, compute 62.2% alcohol by volume. Now, remember the story we just said in the back of that other bottle about Johnny Fitzgerald? But there's, ironically enough, a different story about him in the back of this bottle that's eerily similar. Johnny Fitzgerald was a treasury agent who at the time was the only person legally allowed to carry keys to the rickhouses. He often gave in to temptation and freely took from the best bourbon barrels. Okay, that part's the same. Uncut at barrel proof. Now wait. Now we're adding barrel proof to here where they just said before he was just taking wheated barrels. Obviously they would have been at barrel proof, but it's funny that they add that into this one here. Today you can taste this liquid in much the same way. Larceny Barrel Proof small batch bourbon is made from a mingling of 6 to 8 year old bourbon that is bottled uncut and without chill filtration. So there you go. So They do give you an age statement, 6 to 8, right in the back of this bottle. And they just add the words, you know, uncut it, barrel proof, and they talk that up, which they don't mention on the other label. So let's get into it. So here's the barrel proof. Here's the regular Larceny. I think you're going to be able to tell it's darker. A couple shades darker here on the old barrel proof. Hopefully it doesn't retain any of those horrible hay notes. Oh, what a delicious smelling beast. I get like some red fruit, chocolate. I get like chocolate on this, milk chocolate, red, like a chocolate covered red fruit. There's oak, there's brown sugar. Wow, an extremely pleasing nose. Some confectioner's sugar. I'm getting a lot of chocolate and oak. And then that red fruit is there mingling in there as well. Excellent nose. 10 times better than that regular Larceny small batch. Let's take a sip. If that ain't one of the best $50 spent, I don't know what is. That is delicious. All those flavors we talked about. It starts with the chocolate, the fruits, the oak, a good finish, medium on the mouthfeel. It's definitely thicker than that water I just drank earlier. So pleasant. Only at the very end you get a little bit of that wheater funk, and not in a bad way. But that just right at the finish, it lets you know it's a wheater, and there's a little bit of that on the nose. But in the beginning and middle of that palate, that's absent. This is delicious. Let's take one more. I'm getting like some cinnamon chocolate. I'm almost getting like those roasted nuts at the fairground, but not real nutty, just that delicious sweet roasted nut smell. Let's take one more sip. So delicious. A great mingling of those flavors. If you like oak, if you like fruits, if you like chocolate, it's all well balanced here in this. Excellent. The proof, I'd say it drinks like 115-ish. I don't think it drinks 125. It doesn't come off as hot. You can feel the heat, but it adds to the experience. Absolutely a buy. So I did say here in the great state of PA, this is a $49.99 a bottle. But for some odd reason, Pennsylvania fails to release these to the stores. You got to order them online, which means unless you're buying two, you got to pay for shipping. So total cost on this was like $65 for me. Thank you, PA, for failing to release these to the stores. But somewhat not that hard to get in PA. They probably put these out at least once a week or once every other week online. You have no idea what batch you're getting. It's a complete gamble. Just says Larceny Barrel Proof. You order it, who knows what you're getting. Some people got C921. I happen to get A122, which was the one I was hoping to get because we're starting fresh here in 2022. So I got that one. Some people didn't. Who knows when we'll see B522. But if you were on the fence like me, if you hated or disliked strongly regular Larceny small batch, do not fear. Do not fear. Pick this up. It's dang good. And I'm going to say an excellent value at $50 to $60. I think it's one of the best values out there for that price. This one's been a hitter. I know some of the other earlier ones didn't have one myself, but I heard that some of the earlier versions were not that good, but I'm here to tell you this one's delicious. So if you can find A122, snag it up. If you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. It's free to do. Hit that like button. That also helps the channel out. We're trying to bump up our subscriber numbers. So if you can help out, please do. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.